Welcome to Big B Daily. No frauds allowed.
What's going on, people? What is going on? What's going on? This is Brian Hanley here with Big B Daily Show, Monday through Friday, 4 p.m. Central. How you guys doing today, man? Thank you again. We're live on TikTok. We are live on YouTube. What is going on? What is going on? Good, crazy week of sports this weekend. Crazy week of sports this weekend. We'll cover it all. College, pro football. In the Q&A section, we'll even talk a little baseball if you want to. So follow along with the show. Again, we're live here on TikTok. Stats on TikTok. We are cruising. We're already past what we wanted on TikTok as far as likes. So we're going to bump that up to 6,000. Let's get to 6,000 likes, and we need 30 follows. So we got about 25 more follows to go. So if you're in here and you're not following, shoot on over or go ahead and give me a follow. But also click on the link. Go follow Big B Sports Talk over on YouTube and come and join the chat. Let's get this thing going, people. Let's get it going. 49ers demolished the Dallas Cowboys yesterday. That was an absolute destruction of what the San Francisco 49ers did to the Dallas Cowboys. They should be arrested. They should be arrested. It was assault. It was a mugging. And you're going to see the Cowboy fans are going to be as quiet as a field mouse all week long. Now, you'll get some, we still them boys. No, you're not. No, you're not. You're not them boys. No, you're not. No, you're not. And if we're digging deeper, let me ask y'all this question. Are the Cowboys really any good? I mean, seriously. Are the Cowboys good? Because here's what I will say. Let's just say it was, I don't know, just off the top of my head, say it was Cleveland. And the Cleveland Browns had blown out the Giants, the Jets, and the Patriots. Would we be saying that the Browns are the best team in football? No. And they had been run over by the Arizona Cardinals? No. But because it was the Cowboys, everybody was up in arms and jumping up and down and, oh, the Cowboys are the greatest. And yeah, no, they're not. No, they're not. The Cowboys, here's somebody say the Cowboys are the best team in football. Look, man, they lock people up and throw away the key for people that say stuff like that. We'll lock people up and throw away the key for saying that the Dallas Cowboys are the best team in football. Stop it. Stop it. The Cowboys stink. The Cowboys stink. Overrated. Dak Prescott is bad. Now, look, I'm not blaming this game. A lot of people are going to blame the game on Dak. That game was over before Dak started throwing interceptions, man. Okay? That game was over. You can't put this game on Dak. You can't put this game on Dak. And I'm not saying he played well because he didn't, but that game was clearly over before Dak Prescott started doing Dak Prescott things. That game was over. So you can't blame and say, oh, Dak lost the game. No, he didn't. The Dallas defense that everybody thought was the best in the NFL, that's what lost you the football game. Is because San Francisco went through that Dallas defense all night long like a hot knife through butter. They got physically manhandled. Oh, you know, Lawrence Taylor, excuse me, Micah Parsons, did he play last night? And did Micah Parsons play last night? Because I don't remember him doing anything. I mean, they got the witness protection program looking for Michael Parsons. Remember, he's as good as Lawrence Taylor. Remember that? Everybody saying that Micah Parsons is Lawrence Taylor. Give me a break, man. Give me a break. And y'all know I love to bash on the Cowboys, and I'm going to bash on the Cowboys. They got roasted on prime time. On prime time. The new LT. That's right. Everybody saying he's the new LT. Trent Williams said, hold my beer. And literally just put him in the Terradome and just said, you ain't doing nothing. I'm putting Micah Parsons in the blender. And I'm locking you up. And you didn't hear from Micah Parsons all night. He didn't do nothing. Might as well put his face on a milk carton. But he's the new LT. Pathetic. Just pathetic. Moving on. Look, I can't bash the Cowboys the whole show. Plus, we got a Q&A section at the end that we're going to take our turns bashing the Cowboys. But I can't do it the whole show. But you know how good that makes me feel, because y'all know that I've had to talk good about the Cowboys for the last month. Well, today, that ain't the day. Today ain't the day. We're giving it to the Cowboys. Moving on. Moving on. Did y'all see the Georgia Bulldogs play on Saturday? Did anybody happen to catch the Georgia Bulldogs on Saturday? I mean, I was a person that said, Georgia, they're bored. They're not playing hard. They're maybe not as good. What have they done to say they're the number one team in the country? Again, just like Trent Williams said, hold my beer, playing against Micah Parsons, Georgia Bulldogs said, Big B, excuse me. Yeah, we haven't played yet. We're about to start playing. Pay attention. And they demolish a good Kentucky team. Kentucky's got a good football team. They do, people. And Georgia just said, there's levels to it. There's levels to it. And they whipped them. Just absolutely took them to the woodshed and whipped them. And look, and they proved that they're the number one team in the country. You know, the other teams that are out there, like Michigan hasn't played anybody. Nobody that's any good. Kentucky's a good football team. Not great, but they're a good football team, and Georgia just dismantled them. All that running game that people said that Kentucky was going to do, yeah, none of that happened. None of that happened. Georgia's just better. Now, for all the people out there that are going to say, oh, I told you, Big B, the SEC is the best. No. That means Georgia is the best team in the country. The SEC is still not the best conference. So don't go off the deep end. Don't be talking to me about no daggone history. Just say Georgia is the best team in the country. Because the rest of the teams, again, not any good. You gonna tell me LSU is good? No. Alabama's getting better, but A&M's not any good. And they went on the road and they won the game. But A&M's not any good. A&M's going to lose 4 or 5 games this year. Again. But Georgia is, to me, again, they prove they're the number one team. And they'll probably have 2 or 3 more games where they're playing around with teams and the score won't be as bad as what we think it should be. And then we're going to get into the playoffs and then they're going to wax everybody. So, but either way, the SEC is not the best, but Georgia, to me, is far and away the best team in the country. Far and away the best team in the country. I don't think it's debatable. Moving on. Again, thank you guys for joining Big B Daily Show, man. Again, it's Monday through Friday. Always live on TikTok. Always live on YouTube. I appreciate it. Everybody in TikTok, we're still looking to get to 6,000 likes. We're getting close. And if you're in here and you're not giving me a follow, give me a follow. And then do yourself a favor, man. Click on the link in my bio and subscribe to Big B Sports Talk over on YouTube, man. Come and join that chat. It's crazy. It is fun. Thanks for the rose, man. The chat over on YouTube is live. I put your question or your statement up. It is live. So I appreciate all the support. So next thing is, let's move on. Are the Patriots finished? Are the New England Patriots finished? I mean, they look horrible. Horrible. Now, here's a question that everybody's talking about. Seems like everybody's talking about it today. Was it more Bill Belichick or was it more Tom Brady? Here's my thinking. And look, the first 3 Super Bowls, New England played great defense. That's how they won those Super Bowls. The last 3, it was Tom Brady. I mean, so my answer, yeah, somebody said it was both. I think it was both. Here's the thing. Tom Brady was a luxury that Belichick had for, 17 years? He was the quarterback for 17 years or whatever it was. And that's great. The thing about it is Belichick made a mistake with Mac Jones, and he's just got to admit that he made a mistake with Mac Jones, and go get another quarterback. Just go get another one. Because Jones is horrific. But Belichick's way of doing things, you know what? I've got this great quarterback. I don't have to have great receivers. I can have just okay receivers. Doesn't work. You got to have the quarterback to play that way. Otherwise, you look foolish. Because now they don't have a quarterback. They don't have any weapons. Their offensive line is average at best. They can't run the ball. They stink. So you got to change, man. And just admit, we missed. It happens. And go get you another quarterback. The difference now versus 10 years ago or whatever, it used to cost you $50 or $60 million when you drafted a rookie quarterback. Doesn't cost you that anymore. So just admit, you missed, go get you another one. I mean, Mac Jones is terrible. Terrible. So go get you another one. So they're going to make a Chiefs versus 49ers Super Bowl. It's a rigged game? Oh, okay. That's one of the dumber comments on TikTok today. But it is what it is. Yeah, New England's bad, man. New England's bad. So they got to change. Belichick's got to change, or they're not going to be any good. They're not going to be any good. So that's what I covered today, man. That's the news from the weekend. There's plenty of other stuff that we'll cover in the Q&A section. We got a lot to talk about. So join the chat, TikTok. Again, if you're in here and you're not following, give me a follow. Otherwise, shoot on over to YouTube, subscribe to Big B Sports Talk, join that chat. Let's get it going, people. Let's get the Q&A section going. Look, you see I got my Louisville shirt on. Louisville blew out Notre Dame. I'm hyped today. And I got a bad attitude. Anybody talking bad about Pittsburgh? Anybody talking bad about Louisville? I'm coming after you. Look, I got my chest out. I'm feeling good about myself. Now, nobody bring up Kansas State University. You're not allowed to talk about Kansas State University today. We're not doing that in here today. Nobody talk about Kansas State University today. But either way, look at Louisville. I got my chest out. Steelers. Yeah, buddy. Let's do it. Look, somebody over here on TikTok saying rock chalk. Don't do that to me today. Don't do that to me today. Okay? So, yeah, I'm proud about my Steelers. Y'all gave it to me last week. Y'all beat me up all week long. All week long. And then look what the Steelers did. Look what the Steelers did. Just took the Ravens. We didn't take them to the woodshed. Let me don't go too far. I've gone too far. That didn't happen. That didn't happen. But we beat the Ravens. And guess who is in first place of the AFC North? I'll give you 5 guesses. No, I won't. I'll give you 3 guesses. 3 guesses who the first place team in the AFC North is. The Pittsburgh Steelers. It's the Pittsburgh Steelers. Bottom line, the Steelers have been outscored, I think, by like almost 40 points this year. We're doing it with smoke and mirrors. It's not sustainable. But today, we're in first place. And guess what? We're not going to play another football game because we're on bye this week, without us being in first place. So I'm going to be unbearable for the next week. I'm going to be unbearable about my Steelers. Sorry. I'm sorry. I'm going to be unbearable. You're going to have to live with it. You're going to have to live with it. Y'all beat me up last week, and I took every bullet. Every punch. I took it all. Because what could I say? But now, it's your turn. It's your turn. And if I'm unbearable already, I'm glad you're in here, though. And I'm glad you follow me. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. And somebody brought up Kansas State. Look, man, I said we're not talking about Kansas State University. Don't bring that name up. I don't even know where it is. I don't know anything about Kansas State. I don't know anything about Kansas State. There's no reason to talk about them. There's no reason to talk about them. So we don't like Kansas State. We don't know. We don't even know. Is Kansas State a football school? Is it a school? I don't know. Do they play football there? I don't know. We're not doing that today. So let's go to the chat here real quick. Let's go to the chat over on YouTube. Cowboys beat the Giants, Patriots, and Jets. They finally played a great team and got exposed. I mean, anybody with a pulse has exposed them, including the Arizona Cardinals, who Arizona's not good, but at least they have a pulse. And they exposed the Cowboys. Exposed them. Again, from my man Quiggle, Oklahoma has a real good quarterback. He's a gamer. So, my man Coach K Stokes, Kirby says, hey, let's show how badass we are when conference play starts. Well, that's not true because they played 2 conference games and they were lackluster at best at both of them. But neither of those 2 teams were any good. But Kentucky was good. And they smacked them around like they stole something. So, my preseason Dolphins assumptions. Didn't I say the Dolphins were going to be good? I mean, I picked them to make the playoffs. So, aren't they still on that same trajectory of making the playoffs? I just didn't think that they could win the division without Ramsey. And they did play the Bills a week ago and got their head beaten in. So, yeah, I did pick the Dolphins to make the playoffs. Stop it. So, anything you're saying, you're just lying because I've picked the Dolphins since April. Heck, I had them winning the division until Ramsey got hurt in the preseason. So, there's no reason to come in here and lie. There's literally no reason to come in here and lie. USC is going to go undefeated? I don't think so. Don't think so at all. Yeah, the Dolphins' defense is a problem. It's still a problem. So, Oregon and Washington over USC by 1 million? Yeah. Yeah. USC is going to win. I mean, I think Notre Dame beats them this weekend. Their defense is terrible. Terrible. What else we got over here on YouTube? What else we got? Do you think it's time for Denver to move on from Wilson? They can't. They can't move on from Russell Wilson unless they're willing to eat like $90 million in dead money. They got to have him for 2 more years after this season. They can't move on. They can't move on unless they just say, we are going to start completely over. Otherwise, whew. And for the most part, no. Hold on, Cleveland sports. Russell Wilson was the problem yesterday. Now, all year, he hadn't been the problem. Yesterday, he was the problem. He was the problem. But I do agree, he hadn't been the whole problem all year. That Denver defense is horrific. How Vance Joseph still has a job, I'll never know. I'll never know. So, Louisville going to the Nationals? I'm not going to say that. I think Louisville just needs to win the next game. One at a time. One at a time. Sean Payton was carried by Breeze after 6 games or after 5 games. That's what we're saying? With a bad roster? I mean, come on, people. I mean, you can't have a bad 5 games with a bad team and then all of a sudden you're being carried? And I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying, how would you know that after 5 games? It just, oh my God. No, I didn't see that Josh Norman was back. What else we got over here? My man. Dallas, then all of a sudden says, how much are the Raiders winning by tonight? They're not winning. So 0. The Raiders stink. The Raiders ain't winning tonight. And I don't even think that the Packers are that good. But they're going to beat the Raiders. So, what's your thoughts of the ACC is going to handle a 3-way undefeated season between Louisville, Florida State, and UNC? I'm sure, however they have it in place, I'm sure it'll go by the college football rankings, which will have something to do with strength of schedule, which that'll hurt Louisville because Louisville doesn't play Florida State or Clemson, but neither does North Carolina. So, no, I think North Carolina plays Clemson. It's either they play Clemson or Miami. So, but Clemson's not any good. They're rebuilding. Love your live, sir. Go Blue and go Lions. Hey, Michigan is really good, but let's talk about the Lions. How good did the Lions look yesterday without their top receiver, who is a top 10 receiver? How good did the Lions look? Shoot, the Lions look real good. Real good. Now, the Panthers stink. Don't get me wrong. The Panthers are pathetic. But the Lions look good. So, I said the Panthers stink. The Steelers look good, though. The Pittsburgh Steelers look good. I'm lying. They didn't look good, but they still won the football game. And they're in first place. So when you say for the next couple of weeks, will y'all be mad if I say the first place Pittsburgh Steelers? Will y'all be upset with me? If I constantly say the first place Pittsburgh Steelers, until they're not in first, if I'm talking about them, I'm going to say the first place Pittsburgh Steelers. You know, I apologize, but I don't apologize. Like I said, the first place Pittsburgh Steelers won a good football game yesterday. Here's the honest truth. The game gets away from the Steelers in the first half if the Ravens receivers catch touchdown passes. I mean, literally, they drop back-to-back touchdown passes, and then Skillet Hands himself, Nelson Aguilar, dropped the easy touchdown pass. I mean, people that look at the stats of that game are going to say Lamar Jackson played bad. Lamar Jackson was on his game yesterday for the first 2.5 quarters. He was on his game. He was putting the ball on the money. I mean, guys literally were just dropping passes. 8 drops, including 3 touchdowns. So I don't know what people want. Now, the last quarter, Lamar Jackson was bad. There ain't no ifs, ands, or buts about it. The last quarter, Lamar Jackson was bad. That pick he threw in the end zone was a horrible interception. I don't blame him for the fumble, although he could have stepped up in the pocket. But the last quarter, Lamar Jackson was bad. But the game wouldn't even have been close because the Steelers couldn't move the football. If those guys catch passes, I mean, they're up 27-3, and we don't win. But you know what? They didn't, and the first place Pittsburgh Steelers won the football game. The first place Pittsburgh Steelers won the football game. That's all I know. That's all I know. So, my man, Luminary Wolf, what's going on? OU is still undefeated. Boomer Sooner. Hey, I give them credit. I thought Texas was going to put it on them. I was wrong. OU brought out a lot of stuff that they hadn't shown all year because they hadn't played anybody. Good for them. Good for them. And they took it to Texas. Good for them, man. Good for them. Again, thank you guys for showing up today, man, for Big B Daily Show. I appreciate it. We're always here Monday through Friday, 4 p.m. Central Time. We're live on TikTok. We're live on YouTube. So if you're in here, please give me a follow if you're not already following. And then click that link in the bio. Subscribe to Big B Sports Talk over on YouTube and come join that chat, man. Come join that chat. I'm trying to get as many people over to YouTube as possible just for the simple fact that chat is better. That's all. It's just better. It's better for you, better for me. It's more interactive. It's just better. Doo-doo. How long do the Steelers give until they give up on Kenny Pickett? Kenny Pickett's not the problem. He's one of them. He's not great, but he isn't the issue. They're not going to give up on him until they actually address the other issues, which would be Matt Canada and offensive line. You know, a lot of things that are going to help Kenny Pickett once Deontay Johnson comes back and you got a receiver, another receiver that can get separation. Because let's face it, Calvin Austin he's a he's really a number 4 receiver. Allen Robinson is finished. He can't separate from anybody anymore. He can't play anymore. George Pickens is still learning the route tree. He's an amazing receiver, amazing talent, but he's still got to learn the route tree to start getting more separation. But as far as Kenny Pickett, he's not great. He can be better. He's still learning. But you address Matt Canada and get a better coordinator, and you address a woeful offensive line, which, I don't know, Broderick Jones played great yesterday for the Steelers. About time they put him in the game. He played great. Not good. He played great against the Ravens. Great. He's the left tackle. They just need to leave him in. When Dan Moore comes back, you're the swing tackle. You got to change positions. So, yeah, George Pickens is a raw talent. And you'd think he'd be better at running routes because his daddy was a pretty good receiver in the pros. So, he just got to learn to be better route. And he got better. He showed a little something yesterday with some inside, some dig routes. You know, everything wasn't just a come out or a go route. He's getting better. Najee is trash. Look, I've hung in there as long. And y'all tell me what y'all think about Najee Harris. I hung in there with Najee Harris as long as I can hang in there. Yesterday proved it to me. The all 22, he's missing holes. Look, the offensive line is not great. The offensive line in Pittsburgh is below average. Let's just call it what it is. But there are holes every now and then. He's just not seeing them. And it doesn't always mean it has to be play side, but he doesn't have any burst to go backside when the hole is backside. He doesn't have the shiftiness or the burst to do it. I'm sorry, man. Jaylen Warren does. Jaylen Warren plays hard. He hits the hole hard. Najee has been tiptoeing. And if it's not open play side, Najee just won't run backside. He tries to run outside and outrun people. Well, he ain't even fast. So, oh well. What else we got in here? Lamar was throwing terrible. It seems like the majority of his passes were underthrown to receivers. That's not true, Wakan. That's not even close to being true. That's not even close to being true. The first 2.5 quarters, Lamar Jackson was on his game. He can't help the guys are. I mean, one guy had a touchdown, Zay Flowers, and he stumbled and fell. How is that Lamar Jackson's fault? He was on his game. Like I said, they missed 3 touchdowns. I mean, we know Nelson Aguilar was skillet hands. Okay, we've known that. But my God, you're a step and a half ahead of somebody and the ball just goes right through your hands? Whew. Whew. Luminary Wolf says Rangers versus Astros. It can't be in the World Series, brother. They're in the same division. Can't be in the World Series. It can be in the ALCS, but not the World Series. And it's looking like the Rangers are going to get there. Rangers are beating the hell out of the ball here lately. They got hot. Their bats got hot at the right time. He didn't even touch the ball. Yes, Aguilar didn't even touch it. And it wasn't one of them throws where it was out where, you know how sometimes you put your hands out and it goes, or it was way out here. It wasn't like that. He put his hands like this and the ball just goes right through it. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. So the D-backs are hitting well too. Yes, they are. Vols or A&M this Saturday. I bet you A&M beats Tennessee. I'm not a believer in Tennessee this year. I think A&M beat in the game in Tennessee too. I think A&M can go in there and beat them. Again, also Rans. Both teams will lose 4 to 5 games. 4 to 5 games. Tennessee's not good. They're just average. They're just average. What do we got? My man Quiggle over here on YouTube. What do we got? Nathaniel Hackett was so happy to get that win over Sean Payton yesterday, and he should have been happy. He should have been happy. You know, some other coach who didn't know the entire situation of what I had to deal with going to tell me that I had the worst coaching job in the history of the NFL? And at this point in the season, last year, Hackett was 2-3. Sean Payton's 1-4. I'm just going to leave that right there. At this point in the season, the guy that had the worst coaching history or worst coaching job in the history of the NFL was 2-3, where Sean Payton sits at 1-4. So I don't know when it became fashionable for other coaches to badmouth another coach. That's crazy. That's crazy. I thought it was a fraternity. Apparently it ain't. Apparently it ain't. Yeah, they can't cut Wilson. They can't cut him, trade him. They can't do nothing with Russell Wilson for another 2 years. Way too much dead money, man. So Purdy is definitely a product of his environment, and he's also really good. You can't keep saying that Brock Purdy's not any good. We can't keep saying that. And yes, I know he's not had real game pressure on him. He hasn't. But that's not his fault that he's got a good team. That's not his fault. And he carved up Dallas. Carved them up. And you can say that Dallas's defense is overrated. Okay. But Purdy just carved them to smithereens. So it was ugly. Yeah. I just think you can't keep saying that Purdy is a product of the system and that's it. You can say he's a product of the system because I believe that he is, but he's also pretty damn good, man. The guy's pretty damn good. My man, Trayvon Johnson, what's up? Can Monday have the fraud of the week? We can't wait. Nope. Got to wait till Tuesday. Got to wait till Tuesday for fraud of the week, brother. Tomorrow is fraud of the week. I will tell you this. There are several frauds of the week that are coming out that are in the running. Several that are in the running. Unbelievable. Here we go. TikTok shooting them off. Texas. I tell you what. Mario Cristobal. The Cowboys. Woo, woo. Man. It's not Tuesday. Yeah, you're right. It is Tuesday somewhere. I like that. The Bills. Why would I show love for the Houston Texans? What, they got beat yesterday and should have won the game. So the Bengals are the Bengals are contenders. The Bengals are getting it back together. But yeah, man, there's going to be several possibilities for fraud of the week. Ooh. Several possibilities. OU loses the rematch to Texas by my man MNG Sinister. And maybe. Maybe Texas doesn't have as many turnovers, but I don't know. Seth, Big B, making people wait for fraud of the week. Absolutely. Got to wait for fraud of the week. Got to wait. Cowboys, fraud of the century. Woo. Do you know who's not a fraud of the week? I'll give you one guess. Who is not fraud of the week? Let me see him in the comments. Who is not a fraud of the week? Oregon Ducks? Nope. 49ers, Lions? Nope. Purdy, Dolphins? Nope. My Eagles? CMC? Nope. Somebody got it, but you didn't say it correctly. The first place Pittsburgh Steelers. The first place Pittsburgh Steelers are not the fraud of the week. The first place Pittsburgh Steelers are not even in the discussion for fraud of the week. That who ain't in the fraud of the week. Shoot. Hold on. Seth said Waddle Hill and Claypool is insane. Claypool stinks. What do you mean Waddle Hill and Claypool? What's Claypool going to do? Now, if used correctly, he can be a red zone target maybe. But Claypool he's been terrible at two franchises. So I don't think it's nuts at all. It's a good flyer, and if it can be used correctly, but you remember, Claypool can't get any separation. That's his problem. And he's got a bad attitude. Yeah, I heard they were talking about putting him at tight end. So, but can he block? Will he block? Will he think he's not being used properly? Who knows? Jerry Polk says the Steelers are terrible. Jerry Polk is what we call a hater, a jealous hater. He's either a Browns or a Ravens fan. Browns or a Raiders fan. Because you know what? The Steelers are, Jerry Polk. They're in first place. And no matter what you do or no matter what you say for the next 2 weeks, the Steelers are going to be in first place in their division. Deal with that. Deal with that, my man. Haters gonna hate. Yeah, they do. Jerry's a good guy. He's my dude, though. Jerry's a good dude. Fraud of NFL history. I don't know who's the fraud of the NFL history. The Vikings got robbed? Nah. Aloha from Hawaii. What's going on in Hawaii? Now, the Vikings are a bad team. Make your own luck. Stop begging for calls. Stop begging for calls. Go Redskins. Yeah, the Commanders aren't good. That was pathetic on Thursday night. Speaking of Thursday night, y'all's Thursday night football. Big B will be streaming the game again. We had fun last week on Thursday night, man. We had a lot of fun. First of all, the Amazon broadcast they do is pathetic. It is absolutely pathetic. From the pregame show to the Al Michaels doesn't even act like he wants to be there anymore. He acts like he doesn't even want to do it. Kirk is okay, but Kirk Herbstreit is a college guy. He's a college guy. So might as well show up and jump on. We're streaming right now. We're only on TikTok. We're going to try to figure out how to get it on YouTube as well. So right now we're streaming the game just on TikTok, but we're going to try to figure it out. But either way, come join us. If you're on TikTok, come join us. So, if I own that's a good question. If you own the Patriots, do you go with a younger coach? I think you tell Belichek, you got to change how you're doing this, because the days of you missed on this quarterback and the days of not paying weapons are over. You got to pay some weapons to be good, or you have to have a great quarterback. You have neither. So, Louisville, big win. Congrats. Yes, sir. Louisville Cardinals, stand up. Put a whipping on Notre Dame. Just smacked them around. What do we got over here on YouTube, man? My man Seth. It ain't even a question. It's Miami all day. He talking about fraud of the week. I mean, like I mentioned earlier, I've never seen anything like it, or I would say I've never seen anything like it, but the same coach did it before. Didn't take a knee when he could have just taken a knee to win the game. And I said Cristobal should have been fired. You know how they fired Herm Edwards last year before he got to the locker room? Y'all remember seeing that they fired him on his way to the tunnel? They should have fired Cristobal after he shook the hand of the opposing coach. The AD should have met him right at the 50 and said, yeah, just go to your car. You're done. You're done. That's exactly what should have happened. You're done. Just go right to the car. Don't go to the locker room. You have nothing to say to them. I mean, you had kids crying on the sideline. Because you as a coach have no freaking idea what you're doing. Unbelievable. The guy that works third shift at the electric company that coaches his team's flag football or little league football team, his 8-year-olds, know that if you are up, the other team has no timeouts and you have the ball and it's under 40 seconds, take a knee and the game is over. That guy that doesn't get any sleep at night because he's working third shift and then still coaching his kids' team, he knows to take a knee and win the game. Not Mario Cristobal. And not only has he done it once, twice. He's done it twice. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Seems like the Bills have a habit of losing games they should win. You can say that, but I think the Jaguars are starting to get it together. I think the Jags are starting to get it together. And plus the Bills are going to have a rough go of it now. They lost their middle linebacker, man. So, Matt Milano is out for the year, which it seems like. So they're going to have a rough go of it. So I don't know. And you lose the heart of your defense like that, it's tough. But wasn't that a weird game? It was like a defensive struggle to like the last 8 minutes of that game. It was weird. Weird. The Dodgers are getting swept, says my man Dallas. Then all of a sudden, yeah, you might be right. You might be right. It's like I mentioned. Have we ever seen a pitcher as good as Kershaw in the regular season be so bad in the postseason? Have we ever seen that? I mean, Clayton Kershaw is awful in the postseason. He's not bad. He's like historically bad. And yet, for the first 12, 13 years of his career, he was the best pitcher in baseball. So, we'll see. We'll see. Again, just as a reminder, man, anybody, again, where are we at? Oh, man, we're crushing the stats, man, on TikTok. I appreciate y'all, man. Let's pump it up to 12.5 before we get out of here as far as likes. We are crushing it. And again, so we're looking for 12.5 likes. We only need 3 more follows. So if you're in here and you're not giving me a follow on TikTok, please give me a follow and then hit the link in the bio. Subscribe to my channel over on YouTube, which is Big B Sports Talk, and come and join that live chat. We're always live Monday through Friday, 4 p.m. Central, the Big B Daily Show, live on TikTok, live on YouTube. What do we got? My man Wakan. What was the Hurricanes coach thinking? I have no idea. The guy's a crazy man. My man Jerry Polk. Eagles time management is the best I've seen in a while. Is it? Seth says Georgia. Oh, I know. You all were talking about who's not on fraud alert. Yeah, Georgia's not. Louisville is definitely not. Who labeled the Cowboys America's team? I have no idea. I have no idea, Jerry, who labeled the Cowboys America's team. Whoever it is, I don't know. I can't say on these airwaves or they'll kick me off. So let's see. My man Golf Hawk. I called it. Steelers W. Yes, you did. You had, matter of fact, my man Golf Hawk, even over on YouTube chat, he even had me change because I picked the Ravens at first. And he said, nope, the Steelers are going to win. I flipped my pick and boom, 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 the Steelers win. Excuse me, I apologize. The first place Pittsburgh Steelers. The first place Pittsburgh Steelers. That's who won the game. The first place Pittsburgh Steelers. What are my thoughts on the upcoming NBA season? Jerry, I know the NBA's coming. I usually don't pay too much attention to the NBA until Christmas time. I don't. I'm honest. I'll watch. Don't get me wrong. I'll watch. But I don't pay too close attention until around Christmas time. But I think it's the same thing. I think the Lakers will be good out in the West. I think Phoenix will be good. Denver will be good, but losing, I think they lost Bruce Brown. That's going to hurt Denver way more than what they think. Way more than what they think. Golden State will be okay. I'm still trying to figure out that dynamic because they're talking about Chris Paul wants to start. I'm like, how's that going to work? You can't start Chris Paul and Steph Curry. You can't start that. They'll be tiny. They'll get just annihilated on the boards. So they can't do that. I think the Kings will be okay. So it's going to be interesting. Dallas doesn't play good enough defense for me, so I'm not sure. I'm not sure about Dallas. I got to see it. I don't think the Mavs are going to play good enough defense. But yeah, out east, I think it's the same. I think Miami takes a step back. Yeah, I think they take a step back. Milwaukee and the Celtics, I think, are the class. Philadelphia is not going to be any good with that James Harden saga going on, unless he decides to play. But even if he does, I don't think it's going to matter. I don't think Philly's got enough. They'll make the playoffs, but they're not going to be enough. The Knicks and the Cavs are kind of the same. So they're kind of the same. We'll see. Orlando Magic are not going to be good. So we'll see. We'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. My man, MNG Sinister. There's so much talk around the league of the respect for Tomlin. He's a great motivator, players coach, but not great X and O coach. What do you think he's hesitant to hire guys who are better at X's and O's? Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. But that's a fair statement. That's definitely a fair statement. And just be in charge of the defense, man, and give it over an offensive guy that knows his stuff. It drives me insane. It drives me insane about Tomlin. Gotta have a better X's and O's guys on offense. Gotta have it. What are we over here on TikTok? There's an OU fan in the room. There's an OU fan in the room. Good for OU. Good for y'all. Good for y'all. That's a great game, by the way, on Saturday. That's a great football game. Daniel Jones is not worth the money. No, he's not. How do I feel about Brooklyn or Bridges in Brooklyn? I think Bridges is fine. He's a complimentary star, though. So you're never going to win a title if Mikal Bridges is your number one. You're never winning a title that way. It's kind of like you were never going to win a title if DeMar Rosen is your number one guy. You're never winning a title. So Missouri and LSU was great. I mean, I didn't watch it because I was watching the better game at Texas OU, but I heard it was a track meet. So Chicago Bulls are not going to be any good. No, you got to stop that. Stop that right now. My man, Golf Hawk. Canada has to go. His fickle attitude after the Pickett Pickens audible call to win the game says it all. Tomlin is good. Pickett can grow. Canada is a lost cause. I agree. Canada was mad. The entire booth was celebrating except for him. The entire booth celebrated except for him. Even if you didn't call the play, be happy that your guy scored, that maybe you taught him enough to call an audible to go win the game. He wasn't even happy for that, man. Get out of here. He's got to go. He's got to go. Micah Parsons didn't want none of Trent Williams last night. No, he did not. You are exactly right, Trayvon Johnson, my man. He wanted no part of him. Let's get back to beating up the Cowboys before we shut this one down. Micah Parsons was on a milk carton, put in the blender. Trent Williams just demolished him. All this talk about Micah Parsons is the next LT. Give me a break. Give me a break. You didn't even know that Micah Parsons played last night. You didn't even know he played. Just got destroyed. And so did the Cowboys. And just got embarrassed. Just got embarrassed. And I know a lot of people will blame Dak, and Dak didn't play well, but Dak didn't lose that game. That game was over before Dak started throwing interceptions. That game was long over. Long over. Cowboys stink. They're overrated. You look at the Cowboys' schedule the rest of the year. Look at that schedule. They got a reprieve about midway through. They got a difficult schedule. Shoot. They got a difficult schedule. So we'll see how they do. We'll see how they do. Pat Summerall was the one who labeled the Cowboys America's team? Come on, Pat Summerall. Why did they allow Micah to even line up over a 10-time Pro Bowler? He should have been on the other side. I have no idea. And yes, San Francisco was played tougher by Arizona. But, if you go by common opponents, Arizona ran the ball right over the Cowboys. So, yeah, the Cowboys' last 5 games, that's a good statement, Golf Hawk. The Cowboys' last 5 games are the toughest in football. It's nuts. Y'all go pull up the Cowboys' schedule. It is absolutely nuts. So, Dak has no business being in fantasy football. Bang, bang, Niners. The Niners play good, man. Tua called an audible on the Hill touchdown. Well, most quarterbacks should be able to call audibles. That's what they're there for. To be able to get you out of a bad play into a better play, depending on the defense. So, and one last one, somebody said the biggest coaching fail this weekend, easily Mario Cristobal. All right, man, we're going to shut it down today. I appreciate everybody that joined the chat and joined the live. Thank you, guys. Again, Big B Daily Show, Monday through Friday, 4 p.m. Central Time. Thank you guys for joining in. We are always live on TikTok. We are live on YouTube. If you're in here on TikTok and you are not following, please give me a follow. Please do that. And then shoot on over to YouTube. Click the link in the bio to YouTube and subscribe to Big B Sports Talk and join the chat over on YouTube. The chat is better, more fun, more interactive. So I will catch up with you guys later, man. I appreciate everybody being in here. And I will catch you guys tomorrow. Y'all have a good one.